But it's for a good cause, because we have two wonderful speakers here tonight on a very, very important topic. Welcome to the Great Synagogue for an Erev Limud on the contemporary relevance of the upcoming Shemitah in Israel and Chutz La'aretz. I'm going to apologize just as I begin, because I was not anticipating that we'd be down here. I thought we'd be up in the main shul, and the lighting is better up there for me to read. So I apologize. I have some written comments, and I may have to look at them. So I apologize for that beforehand. My name is Harvey Schwartz, and I'm acting tonight as the substitute moderator, a pinch hitter in effect, in place of Asher Shapiro at his request. You know, Asher, who's the chairman of the board of the Great Synagogue, and usually moderates programs which take place here, is unable to be here tonight due to a very special birthday party, which his children are hosting tonight for his wife, Lenore. So let's all wish her a very happy birthday. Before we go any further, I have one special request of you. Kindly turn off your cell phones, which I'll do as well, so we won't be disturbed during tonight's presentation. I'll try to remember to remind everybody to turn them back on once we finish. No. As residents of Israel, in another few months, we'll have the special opportunity not available to Jews who reside anywhere else in the world, and that is to observe the special agricultural mitzvot relating to Shemitah. How fortunate are we to live in Eretz Yisrael today with the unique ability to perform these mitzvot. I would also like to take the opportunity now to introduce a very special guest who we have here from Chutz La'aretz, from the United States. Excuse me. And he's the Mashgiach Ruchani of Yeshiva University. I think he's here.
Yes, I'm
right over here. Huh? Thank you. My remarks about those who currently live in Chutz La'aretz don't relate to you, so it's tonight there are three very special organizations which have joined together to present this Erev Limud on this very timely topic of Shemitah. The three organizations are Torah Mitzion, the International Young Israel Movement, and the Jerusalem Great Synagogue. The Jerusalem Great Synagogue is proud to host this evening's presentations. As the largest Nusach Ashkenaz synagogue in Yerushalayim, the Great Synagogue is proud to often lend its facilities to host Torah presentations and related events, such as the monthly Friday night dinners, which are attended by anywhere from 175 to 200 lone soldiers. That's on a monthly basis. And the Great Synagogue is very proud to host that. The Great Synagogue considers itself to be the preeminent community shul in this section of Yerushalayim. Torah Mitzion, another one of the sponsors of tonight's evening, was established 18 years ago in 1995 with the goal of strengthening Jewish communities around the globe and infusing them with love of Torah, the Jewish people, and the state of Israel. It accomplishes this very noble goal by training and dispatching shlichim to communities around the world. Since its establishment, Torah Mitzion has sent over 1,000 shlichim to more than 40 communities all over the world. And to serve as its shlichim, Torah Mitzion carefully selects graduates of Hesder Yeshivot, pre-army training academies, and the finest of various midrashot. Notably, Torah Mitzion is currently preparing 45 shlichim who will be leaving for 18 destinations around the world in the coming months. Indeed, one of our speakers tonight, Rabbi Dr. Moshe Pinchuk, served as the founding Rosh Kollel of Torah Mitzion in Melbourne, Australia, for 3 years. Many of you, maybe even most or all of you, are very familiar with the International Young Israel Movement, which is based in Yerushalayim, and it operates programming from Sderot and Beersheba in the south through to Carmiel and Tveria in the north, as well as, of course, right here in Yerushalayim. IYIM's major programs are arranging for the donation of Sifrei Torah to the IDF, more than 200 so far and counting, as well as Torah and Judaic education for the deaf and hearing impaired in 16 cities throughout Israel, an Abuna and prenuptial project headed by Dr. Rachel Levmore, a singles program for 28 to 42-year-old Orthodox singles, a teen clubhouse in Sderot, a community shul in Carmiel, and a Mishloach Manot program under which IYIM delivers more than 9,000 Mishloach Manot packages to our soldiers. And of course, there are more programs as well. At present, IYIM is heavily involved in a campaign to bring the children and teens from the rocket-battered communities in the south to amusement sites in central and northern Israel. This week, 2 busloads of deaf children from Beersheba and Ashdod will be traveling to the Shfayim Water Park and Ramat Gan Safari. So those are the 3 sponsoring organizations. As to our speakers, our first speaker tonight is Rabbi Dr. Moshe Pinchuk, who will speak on the topic entitled Heter Mechira and Prosbul, Adapting the Current Reality to the Requirements of Shemitah. Rabbi Pinchuk is the Director of Jewish Heritage at Netanya Academic College and is a graduate of the Yeshivat Hesder program, where he was both a student and a Ram. As I indicated, he was the founding Rosh Kollel of Torah Mitzion in Melbourne, Australia. And upon returning to Israel, he founded the Doresh Tzion Institute for the study of Talmud Yerushalmi. Rabbi Pinchuk has published articles in diverse areas of Judaism, as well as in mathematics. His book, Kankanim, offers a new analysis of biblical images and events. He currently lives in Ramat Beit Shemesh, Israel, with his wife Hasida and their 5 children. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Moshe Pinchuk. Can I sit in your chair?
One cup for you. Good evening, Birshut Morai v'Rabotai, Avi Mori. Welcome to all the people here who came from near and far. Welcome to all the people who are with us actually on the other side of the screen. Hope we have a good evening. I would like to dedicate the shiur tonight, of course, to the success and the safe being of our soldiers who are protecting us as we speak, north, south, and all over. It's interesting, I just remember today the Gemara in Megillah talks about the order of the brachot in the Shmoneh Esrei, And the Gemara asks, why is the bracha of Geula in the seventh place? The seventh bracha is Geula. And the Gemara there says, because the Mashiach is meant to come during the year of Shvi'it. Geula b'Shvi'it, mitoch she'atidin lehigael b'Shvi'it. So we are now on the eve of Shvi'it, and Be'ezrat Hashem, this Shvi'it we will witness Geula b'mehera b'yameinu. Trying, it's big. And in return, can I just ask for a set of sources so I can tell you where to look? Are there more? Okay, thank you.
Sources.
The goal of my shiur tonight is to try to give an overview of the two challenges that Shemitah presents to us in Israel during the year of the Shemitah. The first, as was mentioned before, is the Hetel Mechira, which deals with the prohibitions having to do with the land and its produce. And the second is the Pruzbul, which has to do with the mitzvah of Hashmatat Ksafim, of waiving all the debts which are owed to you. So this shiur really isn't a halacha l'maisa shiur. I'm not going to come out here with the practical tips or explanations, but hopefully at least we'll understand just how complex and problematic these two challenges are and what we are able to do in order to try to cope with them. And now I'd like to actually start to begin. And if you have the source sheets in front of you, with your permission, I'm going to actually read them in Hebrew, maybe translate here and there, but on part of the sources you have the English translation to your left. So yes, at the end of Sefer Vayikra, we read, "Daber al bnei Yisrael v'amarta lahem ki tavo'u la'aretz asher ani noten lachem v'shavta ha'aretz Shabbat la'Hashem." The seventh year is a Shemitah. "Shesh shanim tizra sadcha v'shesh shanim tizmor karmecha v'asafta et tvuata ubashana shvi'it Shabbat Shabbaton yihye la'aretz Shabbat Hashem sadcha lo tizra v'karmecha lo tizmor." And the Torah itself is aware that what it is asking of us is no small feat. And the Torah is aware and sensitive to the fact that Am Yisrael are going to be nervous. V'chitomru, the Torah goes on to say, V'chitomru ma nochal b'shana shvit. You might ask, well, what are we going to eat in the seventh year? En lo nizra v'lo nesof et tvuateinu. What shall we eat? And what is the Torah's solution? Baruch Hu answers, "V'tziviti et birchati lachem b'shana hashishit v'asat et hatvua lishlosh hashanim." The sixth year will be especially plentiful and blessed. As a matter of fact, it will be threefold, and you will have in that 1 year enough to feed you for the 3 years until your next planting cycle in the 8th year. In a nutshell, the Torah's solution is to offer us a miracle. Albeit perhaps a hidden miracle, a nes nistar, under natural causes, but this is a miracle. This is the solution that the Torah offers us. And in a parenthetical remark, I'll just say I find it strange, the Ramban is very sensitive to this. The Ramban, whenever the Torah tries to base, or seems to be basing a halacha on a miracle, the Ramban immediately says this is impossible. HaTorah lo tismoch, I think we have it here. No, we don't. Yes, we do. The Ramban there. HaTorah lo tismoch dinah l'nisim. The Torah doesn't base its halachot on nisim. And I'm just surprised the Ramban here doesn't make any comment about Shemitah being based on a miracle. And the truth is that Chazal weren't too happy with this either. And we find in a number of places, this is your source number 2, that Chazal actually had a different, at least partial solution for the problem of Shemitah, or the problem that Shemitah presents during Beit Sheni. And let's read it together. Harbei krachim kavshu olei Mitzrayim, this is the second source, velo kavshum olei Bavel. And there are many cities, many places that when Yehoshua bin Nun came into Israel with Am Yisrael, they captured. But when Am Yisrael returned for the second time, after the diaspora of Bavel, they refrained from recapturing or re-sanctifying a number of places, Harbei, many places actually. Why? מפני שקדושה ראשונה קדשה לשעתה ולא קדשה לעתיד לבוא, והניחום כדי שיסמכו עליהם עניים בשביעית. So actually this is a bit mind-boggling. The Am Yisrael came back for the second time. They captured the land. We're starting the second Commonwealth. And in advance, we refrain from capturing or from sanctifying many parts of the land. And all this is in the anticipation of Shemitah. What are the poor going to do during those years? So we're not going to sanctify various parts of Eretz Yisrael. And this way the Anim will be able to have Parnasa during those years. Rashi explains actually that the benefits for the poor is twofold. First of all, these poor people can now hire themselves out as workers on the land. A and B. So this is the benefit of not recapturing the land. And I want to draw two conclusions from the sugya before we move on. First of all, on the halachic level. From here we see that Shemitah in Eretz Yisrael depends on the kedusha of the land. Right? Lo kavshum, we didn't renew the kedusha, and therefore there's no Shemitah. So you have a situation where the place is called Eretz Yisrael, but since there's no kedusha, the halachot of Shemitah do not apply. Now this isn't as simple as it sounds, because there are some mitzvot which depends not on the kedusha of the land, but on the fact that the land is Eretz Yisrael. For example, Kiddush HaChodesh, for example, Egla Arufa, and what was the third one? Smichat Zkenim. These are all different mitzvot which apply in Eretz Yisrael, even in places which do not have kedusha of the land. So this is the first conclusion, actually the most important conclusion of this evening, is that Shemitah depends on Kedusha Haaretz, not on what we call Shem Eretz Yisrael, not on the borders, but on the Kedusha. The second conclusion on a social or value, in the social or value realm, and this is what I was saying before, this is what the Chazal are telling us. It's a very not Zionish type of thing to say. That we came back to Eretz Yisrael and we, on purpose and consciously, prevented ourselves from capturing or sanctifying different parts of the land for the sake of the poor. This is how far and how important this was for us, that we're willing not to sanctify various parts of the land for the sake of Anim during Shemitah. And let me just point out, this is very different than a different partial solution that the Gemara offers. If you look at the very bottom of the first source sheet, in the last table there, K'demachiz Rav Yanai Puku Vazir'u B'Shvi'it Mishum Arnona. And of course, I'm not going to get into all the details. Arnona, some of you might know what this means. Means you pay money. And at this time, the taxes that the Romans levied on Am Yisrael were very great. So great that during the year of Shemitah, Rav Yanai actually allowed them to ignore Shemitah, more or less, and plant so that they can afford to pay this Arnona. It sounds like a much more extreme solution, but if you think about what it means, I'm not doing anything to Shemitah. Shemitah is here, the land is Kadosh, I'm not trying to evade Shemitah, I'm not trying to turn away from it, but I have a very simple, at least this is the way the Tosfot represents it, Pikuach Nefesh, I'm not going to have money to pay for the Romans with everything that entails. We have the Isser of planting on Shemitah, Asa Doche Lotas, more or less. Pikuach Nefesh is Doche. But at least over here, we're not denying or preventing or running away from Shemitah. Shemitah is here, is alive and kicking, but we have to be over on it for a just reason. In the case of Harbe Krachim, we're doing something much more extreme. We're trying to evade Shemitah. We're saying, let's not sanctify the land so that we don't have to perform Shemitah in those areas, in those places. So now that we know, now moving on, that Shemitah depends on Kedusha Haaretz, what I'd like to examine is, well, what is the status today of Kedusha Haaretz? Is our land Kadosh? Where is it Kadosh? What is the status? So here we go to the next source. backwards. Source number 4, the Mishnah in Erchin has a list of the various Batei Arei Choma in Eretz Yisrael, in the Second Commonwealth, in Beit Sheni, which were Kadosh. Batei Arei Choma are cities which have a wall around them, and they have a special Kedusha, which again is a function of Kedusha Ta'aretz. And here we have two interesting opinions. Let's read this Gemara carefully. Rabbi Shmuel b'Rabbi Yossi, Laman manu chachamim et elu. Why did the Mishnah, let's just remember, the Mishnah was written after Beit Sheni. Lama manu chachamim et elu. Why were these particular Batei Arei Choma enumerated in the Mishnah? Shiksha'alu bnei Gola matzu eila v'kichum. These are what the Ole Gola, namely Ole Bavel, the second time we came into Eretz Yisrael, this is what they sanctified. Aval Rishonot, but the first cities which were Kadosh, which were holy in the time of Yoshua, Mishebatla Kedusha Ta'aretz. Once we went into diaspora, once Beit Rishon was destroyed, the entire Kedusha of Eretz Yisrael toppled over like a stack of cards, and everything had to be renewed. What was renewed, and what wasn't. Conclusion. Kasava kedusha rishona kicha l'shaita v'lo kicha l'tidavo. So this opinion holds that kedusha rishona was temporary, and once the Beit Rishon was destroyed, the kedusha evaporated, and therefore there was a need to re-sanctify, as we saw in that first source of Harbe Krachim. But there's another opinion. Again, the same Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi. V'chi elu bilvad hayu. I'm in the third line of this source now. These are the only cities that were sanctified. V'halo kfar nemar shishim me'ir kol chevel argov